You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lanes. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And it's another good day to be a Buckeye, man. Mello, how you doing tonight?
Man, great. This is a perfect day to be a Buckeye. You know what I mean? Got a nice little good recruitment commitment. So I can't complain. We're riding the wave right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're going to dive into that. But first, chat, do me a favor, man. Take a second, share this feed on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook. Help us get the word out there a little bit. Hit that like button, man. Remember, super chats are turned on. They all go to good causes, man. Everything we get from this channel goes back into this channel or to help someone. So we couldn't do this without y'all. We appreciate you guys showing up tonight, man. Do not forget, dude, we're transitioning over. We will still be on this channel, though, for certain shows, but every Monday and Thursday will be a Buckeye Scoop at 6 p.m. Tomorrow is our first show over there on the Buckeye Scoop YouTube channel. And then Thursday, we got a big-time guest coming on with us. You know how we do it over here in the Buckeye Boys. Very passionate about recruiting. This guest, I mean, you don't get more connected in the recruiting realm. She works for Ohio State, helps Ohio State with a lot of the recruiting stuff. So definitely honored and excited for that interview. Of course, we got some recruits coming up as well, man, to have on here. But yeah, man, I guess we should just roll right into it, right, Melon?
Let's get it.
Nothing else to say, dude. It's almost like, you know, so after Kaden Dixon Wyatt had his official visit, I was told this dude's a Buckeye. But then you look at the board, like my personal like wide receiver board, Kaden Dixon Wyatt is a top 5 receiver in the class. And we already had our number 1 receiver at Chris Henry. So I'm thinking this whole time, man, there's no way we're getting this kid, right? We can't pay him wide receiver 1 money. Right. And you know, no shame to those kids out there that sometimes pick that, but it's just like he's a wide receiver 1. That's what I'm trying to say here. Not that his decision would have been about money, but dude, he could have went to any other team and been that star receiver on that team. That's how good this dude is, man. So Kaden Dixon Wyatt signed with the Buckeyes today. They shoved USC and Oregon in a locker. I almost just trolled and said they shoved scum in a locker too, just to do it. But shoot, they did, man. They did. They wanted him to. We shoved them in a locker, man. No, but good stuff, man. I mean, Mello, I'll let you dive into your thoughts on him as a player and what this get means for us, and then I'll dive a little deeper into it.
Well, it's pretty huge. I mean, as Dev already said, he's a wide receiver 1. He actually literally had to be wide receiver 1 last year because unfortunately Chris Henry Jr. got injured early in the season. Another thing that I noticed that I thought was interesting is like all the Quack fans are all over social media, all asking, why would he want to go to Ohio State to be wide receiver 2 or 3? Well, wide receiver 2 or 3 at Ohio State is a first-round draft pick. And as soon as he saw that and he saw your best wide receiver went in the 7th round at Oregon, it was a wrap. Like it was a no-brainer. And at that point, it was about long-term development and money over the short-term money. And as you can see, this kid is elite as you were watching his highlight tape. So he made a business decision for the long-term money. And plus, he already knows if he comes to Ohio State, he gets on the field, he produces, he's going to get more money. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I just love stuffing Dan Lanning in the locker. Really, that's the best part to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. And you look at this film, Mello, you already said it. I mean, watch this dude. He's elite, man. He's elusive after the catch. He seems to always come down with the football, 6'2", big time guy. And here's the aspect of this that I personally love that probably is not going to get talked about at all. But I mean, you just brought it up, but he is team members with Chris Henry and another Ohio State commit. And that only just adds, there's got to be a strong relationship there. They're teammates together. That only adds to the building of the culture of something that Ryan Day has already doing. Not a huge deal, but it's just a positive to this thing that I love. And you see what type of recruit this guy is. It's the type of recruits that Ryan Day talks about. If you're coming here for money, this isn't for you. If we have to talk you into coming here, this place isn't for you. This is for people that want to be developed and want to play in the NFL. Not only that, but want to become great men. You watch some of these interviews from some of these recruits that Ohio State is recruiting, and they're always bringing up like outside football things too. Like I want to make sure I'm a good husband to my future wife, a good father to my future kids, and I just love it, man. But this year's wide receiver class we keep saying the same thing every year, but it's kind of crazy. So let's just watch some of his film right here, man. Chad, I don't know if you're watching, but you just see everything that's thrown his way. And obviously when you're watching highlights, you're watching the really good plays. But I mean, if it's not obvious, this dude has the tools to, come in here and develop into a first round wide receiver eventually. I don't know what you're watching because I think he's absolutely elite. Let me ask you this, Mello.
Yep.
Where's Brian Hartline now? I mean, where's Brian Hartline on your list of like all-time greats in terms of recruiters and developers and all that stuff? I mean, where is this dude on this list right now?
And are we talking in terms of nationally or Ohio State history?
Nationally, bro.
Okay.
So it's hard. It's going to be hard for me to talk nationally because I haven't done the research, but
yeah.
I mean, my goodness, even nationally.
To me, I would go one. I mean, Glenn Schumann's up there in terms of UGA linebackers, but I think he clears Glenn Schumann. His wide receiver classes get better every year, and it's just ridiculous because it's like, how can it get better when you think it's as good as it's going to get? He's like, hold my beer. I'm going to take it up another notch, even for myself. It's like he's in a competition with himself. There's nobody else in the same stratosphere as him. And if anyone says differently, I like to see what they're drinking. What's in that cup? You know what I mean? So, I mean, this kid is absolutely phenomenal. He's elite. And we got a great one right here.
Yeah, you just saw that clip previously. I wanted to rewind it and show everybody his blocking ability as well.
Go ahead if you can. Do it. And I'm going to bring up something that I saw you on the Buckeye Boys. If you're not following us on X, please do. But I saw something where I believe it was Dev. He posted it. He said, you can't run or hide from competition. And in the wide receiver room, in the DB room, nobody's running and hiding. All the kids that we recruit, they want that smoke. It's so obvious.
Yeah, it's to, running away from competition is doing yourself a disservice. I believe this is the play right here, or I think his quarterback takes off and he blocks number 19 down here. Yep, it is. He sees him coming, grabs a hold, pancakes him, and keeps on a roll. And so, yeah, man, again, huge pickup. One of them ones that I kept hearing that it was an Ohio State was getting him. Like that was what I kept hearing. But in the back of your mind, you're like, but this dude's a wide receiver one. And USC is offering him double the money. So is Oregon. I mean, you see what USC is doing right now with 27 commits, top of the class. But before everybody starts wanting to talk about that, kind of on another note, they did the same exact thing last year, the same exact thing. So I don't know what their recruiting strategy is. It's working pretty good right now, but we'll see, man, because whatever they did last year, they lost, I don't know, 4 or 5 5-stars. I mean, really top 100 kids last year throughout. They didn't keep a hold of any of them. So.
You know what happened? The season started and the product was on the field. So like that's what it is. At the end of the day, you can offer as much money as you want, but if you're not producing and you're not putting kids in the NFL, then I mean the elite kids are going to be like, I could go get a little bit less money and get developed better and go to the league. I'm going to trust that process. Now they have Rex Ryan's brother on staff. That dude's quirky. So if you were into that, then I mean, cool. But if you, I don't know. We're gonna see how good he is. I'm not a believer personally. I think he's fraudulent.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do now is I want to talk about where we're at now in this class. You know what I mean? So we'll take a look at all the players that are signed right now. And I believe Mika is going to be coming on. I don't know, Mello, you want to bring her on now while we're talking about
well,
Kaden Dixon Wyatt, right? And she can help us talk about
everybody. We're going to welcome the guru, the recruiting guru, Mika Hanna, also a Buckeye boy / girl, to the stage.
Oh, my bad, Mel.
You're good. Hey, Mika.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. So right now we just broke down Kaden Dixon Wyatt, and we're about to go over the class, the 26 class, and you know, it wouldn't be a proper show without having the guru on.
Thanks.
Mika, before we do that, though, I got to know, what'd you do today? What'd you do? Yes. What was the most exciting thing you did this week? Watching the Kaden Dixon Wyatt commitment? Because that was on my list.
Yes. I watched it over on Jux and got into it with some Oregon buddies of mine over there. It was fun.
Imagine that, an Ohio State fan getting into it with Oregon fans. This seems to be an ongoing issue that we're running into. But Mika, so glad you could be here with us. Mello, did you ask if you had her thoughts on? What's your thoughts on Kaden Dixon Wyatt? What's your thoughts on him as a player?
I really love him. I think he's elite, and the thing I like about him the most is, like, he has a great way of making, like, tough catches look easy and making the easy catches routine, which is what Brian Hartline looks for in his receivers, and he's already really good at that.
Yeah, there's no doubt, man. Brass Tacks brings up something as well that is very intriguing, because it's like, if you're a corner in this class, or even the previous class or the class before, you're going to get weeded out really fast on whether you're Ohio State material or not, because you look at these wide receivers you're going to have to go at against in practice every single day. You know what I mean? If I'm a corner, I'm like, hey, dude, I'm trying to go against these guys. Why? Because I know they're going to be first-round draft picks. I mean, just think of –
yeah. And iron sharpens iron, right? So they're going to get better at practice. So even if they make the mistakes, say they get cooked at practice one day, guess what? It's okay. It's practice. You're just going to get better. You're going to learn from it. But if you go and you want to go against these guys and you only get to play them one time in one game during the season, we already know the GMs ask DBs flat out, how did you do against Ohio State wide receivers? And if you get exposed, you're just gonna, your draft stock's gonna plummet. You're literally costing yourself millions of dollars. So it's really probably best interest to even come to Ohio State if you're a cultural fit or you're lucky enough to get that offer.
Yeah, for sure. And sorry, Mika, go ahead.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And he even brought that up in his commitment when he started talking about culture fit and faith thing. I knew we had him before he even finished his sentence. I was like, we got him. He's coming here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mika. You know, that's the pattern. And all these recruits that me and Mello interview and you and Mello talk about and whatnot, and even the ones we've talked to off air and haven't got the chance to interview yet, that's the pattern. They are focused on culture, development, and family. You know what I mean? They are not focused on money and play. I mean, playing time's up there on their list, but they know what they have to do to get that playing time. You got to show up and show out. And I was about to say something. Oh, So we'll just dive into this. We're going to go over the class that we have committed so far. When I mean go over it, this isn't a deep dive. This is, each one of us just say a quick couple words about each of these commits, because I believe we are off to a very, very fast start. I'll start with Chris Henry Jr. He was the number one, all the way across the board, got injured, didn't play this year. They bumped him down to the number 4 receiver. I mean, if it's not, he's the number 1 receiver in the class. It's not really like debatable, or I don't even think if you're other fan base that you can argue that. Oh, this is what I wanted to hit on before I really even started in this, because Mello, Mika, I want you guys to, for a second, I want you to put yourself in another team's shoes. Like, let's say you're not an Ohio State fan, and you listen to the Ohio State fans and how they talk. I went over on Johnny Olden's show today, and they kept saying Ohio State fans think they're the best at literally everything. And, without sounding, overly confident with our team, first off, it's us fans aren't doing anything, so we don't get any credit for the success of the Ohio State football program. But, I mean, we're the winningest, football team in the past, since 2000. We're very successful. Not a lot of off-field stuff goes on. Look at the draft. Look at the draft picks. I mean, we are up there. And with the momentum that Ryan Day has right now, there's a lot of things we can look at this team, and we are legit saying wide receiver room's the best, the defensive back room's the best, linebacker room's the best. We can say those things. This is Ohio State, man. We're not just some, we're a blue blood program who's got a good coach, a good foundational backing, a great fan base, the whole 9 yards. So your guys' thoughts on Chris Henry, or if you want to add to anything I just said about other fan bases having to listen to us say we're the best at everything all the time.
Go ahead, Mika. I'll let you go first.
First of all, I think Chris Henry's drop is BS. We all know he's the number 1 receiver. He should stay that way regardless of injury, but I understand it. And as for the fan thing, I don't see any of us, I could understand if it was not proven, but we consistently bring in high-ranking recruits and consistently compete and develop players at a high level and compete at a high level. I think and if they were being honest with themselves, they would be saying the same stuff about their program. And some of them still do, from programs that ain't done anything in 20 years.
Absolutely. I second that. I want to shout out to Daniel Sanchez. And he said, Dev, this is in reference to what you were saying earlier about competition. He said competing in practice makes games just games. And that's 100% the truth, especially at the DB wide receiver position. Because if you're going against the best DBs, games are going to be easier for you as a wide receiver and vice versa. So I just wanted to point that out. In terms of Chris Henry's drop, it was due to just the fact that he got injured. If Chris Henry comes back 100% healthy, I guarantee you, I'm going to go step out on a limb. I can't say guarantee because we know these services like to mess with Ohio State commits rankings and placements, but he'll be back to the number 1 wide receiver minimally in the nation. And yes, people are saying he's not JJ. He's JJ, but in a different way. You can't teach 6'6", 4'3", 40 speed with that vertical. You're forgetting to hit how fast his dad was, and he has hands. So he's just a whole different type of problem that you have to deal with. And if you go watch his, he has his own YouTube channel. He's trying to come to Ohio State already at 225 pounds. So good luck trying to shut down both of them. Who are you going to double? You can't.
To me, he's a lot like his dad. I remember his dad when he played for the Bengals, and he reminds me a lot of his dad, just the way he plays. And I know people are going to say, well, duh, that's his dad. But to be able to do that at the level he's doing it is elite.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, so great receiver for sure. You add to the receivers in this class already. You know, Kaden Dixon Wyatt, Chris Henry Jr. Then you're going to go down to Jaden Ricketts.
Yep.
247 has him as the 244 player in the nation. But you want to talk about a fast receiver. This dude is fast, man. Very, very quick. Has shot up the rankings a lot and probably will even more. And then Brock Boyd, like every one of these receivers that I look at, I can honestly look at these guys, and understand why Brian Hartline is recruiting him. Not that he needs me to understand, but it's like, I mean, even Brock Boyd, 247 doesn't have him ranked. I mean, that's just kind of wild. The level of competition that he is playing in and the numbers that he is putting him up should put him in the top 200. I mean, just based off of that. I mean, am I wrong? Anybody?
Hey, you got the man right there who knows it all, who's in Texas, whose son is the number one DB in America. Boyd is a baller. And guess what? He ran a 21 freaking 200 meter. I don't think you guys understand how ridiculous that is.
Boyd is Devin Smith with a better route tree.
Yep. Listen, that's the guru right there. That's why we call her that. That's a perfect comparison.
I'll take it for sure. So got the wide receiver room loaded. Then we go to the backfield. Blaine Bradford, the number 1 or number 2 safety in the class out of Louisiana. It's really cool to be able to go on 247 or on 3, some con 3, and see the state Louisiana of one of the states we have a player committed from right now. That's really cool. Simeon Caldwell, listed as a safety. We'll put him in the backfield for now, but Ohio State is recruiting him as an athlete. They don't really, there's no designation there yet. Jacob Weatherspoon out of Ohio, a top 300 player, 220, 17 in his position. And that's the backfield right now. And we're in on, we got Jordan Thomas, Justice Fitzpatrick, Braylon Womack is another one that I have picked to be in this class.
Same here.
My Buckeye Boom prediction or whatever we're calling that. Buckeye Boom.
Yeah, we can go BBZ Boom, whatever you want to do. I'm cool with it.
What about a Boys Boom?
Yeah, there we go. Boys Boom. We got a major boys boom for Braylon Womack to be in this class, straight up.
I go with BBZ Boom just for those ladies who are involved here.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Mika.
We're getting kind of sexist here, boys.
Hold up, man.
We, Mika. There's no we here. That was you. All righty. So guys, talk about the defensive back room right now. What's your guys' thoughts and what are you seeing in the future of this class?
We are elite as usual, and I think, like you, I think we do land Jordan Thomas, and I had him as my number 1 cornerback regardless of Albert Hill.
Yep.
Just because I think he can play multiple cornerback positions, and I think Albert Hill is more of a nickel guy, or maybe I think Albert could play outside, but I just think Thomas has more versatility, and I like the guys that we already have. I like the range that Simeon Caldwell shows, and I like his versatility, maybe being able to move down the line back, and he can hit for sure. I love the way he hits. You can feel it all the way from his tape.
Yeah, for me, I think Jordan Thomas was the number 1 target on OG Walt's board because of his size, his length. He fits the type of prospect that he wants. I think that Fitzgerald was 2. And I do think Albert Hill was 3rd on the board, to be honest with you. I think at Ohio State, he's a nickel. he's elite. That doesn't mean that he's not good. I think he would be the best nickel in the country. But when you're looking at how Oregon and UGAs are recruiting wide receivers in Texas, they're going for wide receivers that are outside that are 6'3", 6'4". And no matter how fast you are, like, yes, you can have that dog, but those jump balls, you're already at a disadvantage. So as a nickel, I think he'll be excellent. I do expect us I expect us to get Jordan JT, honestly. Hopefully we get Fitzpatrick and then spin the block to get Albert Hill back into the class. And I'm expecting to see Braylon Womack commit here in August. And then you have a class with Braylon Womack, Blaine Bradford, Simeon Caldwell, Jordan Thomas, Fitzpatrick, Justice Fitzpatrick. And if they flip Albert Rock Hill, that's just insane. If not, and Albert stays at USC, then I'm going to have the same message I have for Trey McNutt and Naeem Offer. You got to go ahead and handle those boys. Chris Henry Jr., Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham, Desi Jones, Optimus Prime, JJ Smith. I mean, the list goes on. And now you have Kaden Dixon Wyatt. You're going to have Jameer Brown coming soon. So, like, you're going to get – you might get exposed and your draft stock really might drop. So that's something you should be thinking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Got a super strong wide receiver class right now. Super strong backfield right now. The next one that is super strong is believe it or not, is the offensive lineman that we have committed right now, man. Maxwell Riley, Sam Greer. Oh, come on, man. And then Tucker Smith. Those are three right now. We are in on several more later in the show. We're going to get into some recruits that we believe we're in on, possibly could be pulling the trigger next. But right now, we'll focus on this. I mean, Maxwell Riley, Sam Greer. Sam Greer is top 100 player over on Con 3. Maxwell Riley's a top 100 player here. I mean, those are, you can't ask for better commits on the offensive line. Tucker Smith has just potential. And I'm going to learn on how do I want to say this? How much I've learned in regards to watching an offensive lineman's film and gathering how good they are. I know it's one of the hardest positions to do. It's something I've been working on. I will, look at some film, watch it, and I'll ask somebody like Kirk over at Scoop to tell me his thoughts. We'll see if thoughts line up. But watching his film, man, I think he has the potential to be very, very good, a very light-footed offensive lineman, and I'm excited about him. And like I said, we'll get into who else can be in this room. And then finally, we've got tight end Corbin Fordham. That's how you say it. And then linebacker CJ Sana right now. So you guys want to talk about the remaining commits that we have in this class and your overall feelings about the class so far?
I'll take CJ Sana. I'll leave the last one for Mika. So with CJ Sana, what I see is like a typical Mike linebacker, like an old school Mike linebacker. Like, you should put a neck roll on him. He's always coming downhill and he's killing whatever he hits. That's just the bottom line. They typically use him as a spy on a quarterback, and especially because this is just his first season ever playing linebacker, and he's destroying every quarterback and every running back that comes out. They'll have an angle on him, and he'll still chase him down and hit him for a tackle for a loss or no gain. And with him coming here and learning from the best linebacker coach in America, he's just going to keep growing and improving. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this class. I think we're going to finish in the top 3 for sure. Maybe number 1, depending how everything plays out and how that Tyler Atkinson commitment goes. We'll see. I think it's between us and UGA. So it all depends on how we finish. If we spin the block and flip Rock Hill, that's just another feather under the cap for OG Walt.
Amen. Mika, what's your thoughts on the tight end commit that we have committed
Corbin?
right now? Yeah, Corbin.
I really like him, but what I like best about him is he's a very willing blocker. And he can also catch the ball, so he's a really well-rounded guy. And he's got the frame to really put on some weight, too, and be real nasty. He's already prepared to stick his face in and block for his teammates, and I always loved that in a tight end. Cade Stover made that sexy.
Amen, Mika. Amen. Yo, shout out, Mello, don't you know this guy? He's a Notre Dame guy, Michael. Shout out Michael.
Yeah,
Been in our
shout out
chat
to
a lot.
Michael, Dallas
I
fan.
don't know why he's trying to compare the Notre Dame wide receivers to the Ohio State wide receivers.
He did that.
Caden.
He did that. Let me tell you something real quick. Backstory. He did that when JJ committed. He said, I forget who they had, and he was like, "Oh, he's way better than JJ. JJ's overrated. He's just getting that Ohio State Buckeye bump." Well, first off, the reason that if he's getting an Ohio State Buckeye bump is because we produce wide receivers. So there goes that part that kind of slashes that. But now you're in here talking about how great JJ is and how Chris Henry is in JJ. No, they're two different types of players. That's all I'm saying. I say he's going to be a version of JJ in his own right, which means he's going to be unstoppable for DBs to guard him if he's 100% healthy. So don't get it twisted. Now, Michael, we love you. You're the biggest freaking Notre Dame fan that I know outside of John Kennedy. So salute. Thanks for being here, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we love to be the light around here. So as long as you're having football conversations, being respectful in the chat, which he always seems to be on here, we don't mind you being in here. And yeah, I've heard he's a dog. People are saying that in the chat too. So I don't mind seeing Notre Dame be successful. I would like to see them be more successful. I mean, Notre Dame's one of those teams I root for if they're not playing Ohio State. But that's just me. So
same here though.
Mika, we appreciate you joining us for the recruiting side of this show. Do you got anything to add before we let you off here for the night?
No, I'm good.
Nah, you got something to say. You got something to add.
You got to say something to Buckeye Nation.
What? Hey, how about this? How about you tell us about them dropping Brady Edmonds down to the 130th ranked player in the nation? How about you tell us about that?
You don't want to get me started on that. This is a family show.
We'll keep it family and just give us some quick thoughts, and we'll get you on out of here.
I think they only did it because he committed so early, and they know he's not going anywhere. So there's no drama in attaching his name to stuff anymore. So they're just going to drop him.
I would have to.
I think he's a generational talent. Anybody that's even remotely familiar with the game of football and watches his film can see that. And he's already got a college-ready frame. So I don't see how they're knocking him as much as they are. And I do have something to say that popped up earlier today. When I say that we're building a dynasty, some people have taken issue with that in the comments on other shows and on the show. And when I say that we're building a dynasty, I'm not saying that what we've had in the past hasn't been consistent with the dynasty. What I meant is what we're building now, I believe, is going to be something unprecedented on the level of Nick Saban's Alabama teams, or possibly even better if we continue to maintain the culture and the recruiting excellence we've had.
Yeah, I mean, you are fair to make that statement. You are an Ohio State fan. What Ryan Day is doing right now across every aspect of this program, there is more evidence to support that than any other team has in the nation. So if anybody wants to try to argue that, we'll say you put your evidence up for your team, I'll put my evidence up for my team, and we'll see who has the most. We have the most. Mika, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're part of the Buckeye Boys family. So we'll get you back on here again. I'm sure you and Mello got something planned in the future, but Mika, we appreciate you. We love you, girl. You have a blessed night.
Love you guys. Good night. Go Bucks.
Night.
Good night, Mika.
There she is, Mika. I'm telling you that the first show I ever did with her really opened my eyes to, because, you get a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, I'm really into recruiting. I really like it. And then most people that say that to me and I start talking to them, I'm saying players I've never heard of. And I'm like, okay, you might not be quite on the crazy level that I am about it. Well, I felt like that with Mika. She was saying players that I've never even heard of. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she put some time into this. So, Mello, before we get into the future of the 2026 class and what we think might happen here, talk about a little piece of information that come out regarding our best friends over there from the team up north and their team and their bet. Their bet is leaving. Okay. Mr. Bet Boy is going to Florida. He's going to be my neighbor. So I'm going to go over there and talk to him, see what kind of guy he is. But give me your first impressions, your first thoughts of yet another one jumping out of the burning, sinking ship.
Well, when I just connect the dots, all it shows is that, hey, Scoop was right. Scoop had it first. I think he knows what's coming, and he's removing himself from the situation. Maybe he thinks that will help with the punishment from the NCAA and the infraction committee. But anyone to say, like, it's not really a connection. If you look at it, let's just be honest from an academic standpoint, because we're not even talking sports, because as a president is more about the academic side. Florida is not on the cheaters up north's playing field when it comes to academics. They're just not. So for him to leave, there's something else there, in my opinion, besides just leaving just to leave.
Yeah, for sure. Cleveland Mike said he's going to steal our Con 3. He wouldn't be the first one. But dude, I got a question in the chat, man. Where did you guys first hear Con 3? Because over here on Buckeye Boys, we're trying to claim that, but we got it from somebody in our chat. I forget his name now, but he typed it in there, and ever since then, we loved it, and we've been saying it all the time. So I'm just curious, where did you guys hear Con 3 first at? Not that it matters, but in this YouTube world, we like to get competitive and play a game a time or two. But yeah, Mello, on that note, I mean, the goalposts are just going to get moved again. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be crazy for number one, even talking about it. Okay. We're going to get called lunatic fringe or whatever, because we're bringing it up, and we can't just focus on our own team. Well, it was a national story today, dudes. So we talk about those. And you're a rival. And then number two, if we try to connect the dots, I mean, we're going to sound like we're stretching. We're trying to just make up stuff to connect the dots of yet another person leaving. And, you know, throughout my time of this, I've just realized that's why, you know, you saw me on the show earlier, and you hear how I react to these guys when they get in the chat and stuff. They don't raise my emotions anymore or anything, because it does no good. There is no changing them. There is no even debating on an intellectual level football. If they have an idea in their mind, not all of them, but if they get an idea stuck in their mind, by God, it's stuck in there, and there ain't no changing it at all. But to me, part of this is because of that. What president wants to stay at a university that just had pedophile, drunk driver, NCAA investigating, show causes, this and that? No, man. Nobody wants to be a part of that in their professional career. Those things hurt you. You know, if he sticks around until the NCAA is all the way done with him, and then he goes to get a job afterwards and they pull it up, they will see that he was president when they got their natty vacated. And with as important as college football is these days, do you think a college is going to sign a president that has vacated natty next to his name? Not that he had anything to do with that. I don't know the connection there, but still, in today's day and age, it's not guilty until proven innocent. It's if you have an association with somebody that's guilty, you are then guilty as well. So be careful who you hang around. But that's just the reality of it. You know, him jumping ship and doing this, don't know. I'm sure somebody's going to come up with a different reason that sounds beautiful as to why he's leaving. More money, more something to avoid the truth.
I had a question for you. So if you take him leaving and the coaches not being on the road, what else am I supposed? That's the dots that I'm like connecting. You know what I mean? It just, something's going on. And at one, every other staff is on the road recruiting. They're not on the road recruiting. Kids that have visited them 3 times more than they visited Ohio State are throwing them out of their top 4 list, putting Ohio State in. They're not even making Final 4 lists. And these kids have agents. Like Jackson Cantwell's agent is Drew Rosenhaus. Do you think he doesn't know what's in? He doesn't know who to talk to find out what's going on? I mean, that fan base, they just need to go ahead and start preparing themselves, because when it hits, it's going to hit them hard.
Yeah, here's the deal. Here's the truth. We talk to recruits. When the question is asked, does this affect you? The answer is yes. So this isn't, you're our rival, we hate you, this is affecting your recruiting. This is hey, we ask recruits, and they say, yes, it does. Why would I want to go be a part of that? And now that these show causes are coming out too, it's coming out that they have been lying to the recruits the whole time. They're telling all these recruits last year's class was good because there wasn't anything coming out on it, so they can continue to comfort them and say, no, man, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Well, you might ask what changed. They were still under the investigation last year. They were offering a bunch of money last year as well. They're still offering a bunch of money. What has changed? Well, punishments have come down, showing them to be liars already. So if they're going to lie about this little tiny thing, well, how is the recruit going to believe you? When I asked some fans, Chad, I need your help. Do I have my scarlet glasses on and my eyes hate-filled enough to think this? I know they're not, but I asked if it bothered them that none of their coaches were on the road recruiting. And I got told I was trying to make this in a bigger deal than what it is. Well, in today's day and age with recruiting, if your coaches are not on the road visiting these kids and all these other coaches from other schools are, what do we know about recruiting these days? The number one most important thing for a school to do is show the recruit that they are wanted. That's just what it comes down to. How do you do that? You contact them. You go see them. Well, if all these other schools are doing that and we're not, and they're not, in my mind, that is a huge deal. If I got told Ohio State was not going on the road recruiting, they're taking a break. Ryan Day said he wants to give the staff a 2-week break. And one of the very few times that they're allowed to go out before the season starts in a critical time of recruiting, I would flip out. I would think it is an absolute huge deal, and it is going to hurt our recruiting class. Those would be my honest thoughts about this scenario. Chat, am I wrong? Am I thinking crazy? And Mello, am I wrong?
You're absolutely not wrong. And when you brought that up, only one of them said, yes, it bothers him. It's a big deal. But the rest of them talked over him. And of course, it's the one logical fan or podcaster of that program.
You probably know who it was. I didn't hear him, but yeah.
Yeah, that was 3M. He said, yes, absolutely. It's a huge deal. I have a problem with it. And they just decided to talk over him like they always do. But hey, whatever. But yes, it's a huge deal.
Yeah. So there's our little information on our best buddies up north. They continue to slide down that scale. I'm just waiting for them to exhale, let all that stress go, and just say, yep, we're in shambles right now. Our program is in shambles, and I'm going to pray that we can build this thing up the correct way. I don't like Jim Harbaugh. I don't like Connor Stallions. I don't like any other coaches involved in this. I'm going to stop treating them like they're royalty. Look what they've done to our program. I mean, if you stop now and the NCAA gives 0 violations, look what they have done to this program already. Look, the things that are going on. Let's say there's no sign stealing allegations. Take that away. Look at what's gone inside that program already. And Jim Harbaugh is your hero. But on another note, 2026 recruiting is still going on. Us psychos with recruiting, we want to know, man, who's next? Who's next? Who the heck's it going to be, man? I'm going to give my list. We can go over it, and I'll also give a list. I kind of want to dive into defensive line recruiting a little bit. Okay. Here's my list of recruits that this is long, so hopefully I get one of them right. I can say I was right. But we got PJ Dean, top 50 player in the nation. Tyler Bowen was recruiting him here for offensive line. While he was here, Larry Johnson said, give me your defensive line tape. Larry got it, and right when Larry got done offering it or watching the film, PJ became one of his number one targets on the defensive line. So shout out Coach Bowen for getting him in the door, and Larry Johnson for taking advantage of an opportunity. He could pull the trigger at any time, if you ask me. Champ Smith's another one, kind of quiet, but I think he could commit at any time. Jordan Thomas, Sincere Johnson, Deuce Geralds, Drew Evers, Favor Aki. Those are the ones on my list that within the next month they could possibly be in this class. Mello, any thoughts on any of those guys or anybody I left off the list?
Man, absolutely. I agree with that list completely. I think by the end of June, we will start seeing some of those guys pop. I think by the end of June, hopefully we'll have some word on Tyler Atkinson. I think it's a two-horse race between UGA and OSU. And we'll see how that goes. I like our chances, mainly because of the high school he goes to and because we have James Laurinaitis, to be honest with you. So he also reposted Kaden Dixon Wyatt's commitment today. So that's pretty interesting. I know it doesn't really mean much because all these kids are friends, but I don't know. I just think a little deeper into it, to be honest with you, right or wrong. I want to see what happens with Savion Hyder and Derek Cooper. That's going to be an interesting recruitment. Is it possible that we could take 3 backs in this class in terms of Derek Cooper, Savion Hyder, and Favor Key?
I mean, I think it's possible, but not plausible. Like I don't think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I think. Favor Key is a top 150 recruit, yeah. So you can get by with convincing 2 elite guys, but I don't know, the only reason we did it last year is I think because Turbo's a little bit different of a back than the other 2.
Yeah.
He's more of a, Samuel,
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel type of player, a little bit. I don't really vibe with that comparison as much as others would. But you get what I'm saying, just a little bit different. But
how did we miss this guy though? After you talk, I want you to hit on this. What Mika Hanna put up.
I didn't miss on him. He's on my next list.
Okay, I got
he ain't committing in the next month. It ain't happening.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, when we talked to him, he said it's probably going to be after the season. But he said if the feeling is right, the feeling's right. He's pulling the trigger. But he does not strike me as that type of individual. He strikes me as he is going to take his time.
Yep.
He is serious. He's going to go on all his official visits, and he has a lot scheduled. He is taking advantage of the official visits, but he's got a lot scheduled. So, the next people on my list would be Darius Gray, Felix Ojo, Justice Fitzpatrick, the defensive back, Luke Waffle, Jake Krull, Preston Carey, Derek Coleman Brusa, and Keyshawn Eliezer. Most of those are defensive linemen. So listen, I've changed my mindset with defensive line recruiting. Hopefully, if you are in the same spot I was with that feeling, you can jump on board on this thought, right? And the thought involves faith. So you're welcome. You're going to hate me. But, when you look at what Ryan Day has done, okay, what were our issues the past couple years? If you were to pick a couple areas in recruiting that we need a bump in, what would those areas be? What would be your number one? D-line. Okay, O-line and D-line. Look what Ryan Day did this year. He went in and he corrected the offensive line recruiting. That's what he did. Now we're on point there and everything. And I know right now as fans, it doesn't look like D-line recruiting is going that well. It's just a different strategy. And I'm not saying I agree with the strategy or anything, but I'm just saying just because Larry Johnson isn't going out there and offering as many defensive linemen as Tyler Bowen is offering offensive linemen does not mean something has changed inside that building to make sure that the recruits that Larry Johnson zones in on, he will get. We're not going to have flips on signing day. We're not going to have that anymore. My point is, Ryan Day identified the offensive line recruiting issue and he corrected it. What's to say that he did not do something for defensive line recruiting this year that us fans just aren't hip to quite yet? I get it, man. There's way more evidence to go the other way with this, so don't kill me. It's just my way of thinking here that, hey, man, we are far away from signing day. We have no idea what Ryan Day, Larry Johnson, that defensive recruiting staff with Matt Patricia are up to on defensive line recruiting. We do not know everything. Neither does the beat. You can be the best insider, and we might not know quite what they're up to. So what's your thoughts on that, Mello?
No, I agree with you on that. And Emily makes a valid point right now that I wanted to pull up. Defensive tackles just aren't committing right now in general, which that's pretty factual. So I don't know why, but they seem like they're taking their time, all these commits. But I do feel very positive about Deuce Gerald's. I do feel very positive about PJ Dean. I think we're gonna get some very good recruits. But yes, it's a little different. You have to have the patience and stop trying to kill LJ like he forgot how to coach or recruit, because there's a lot of LJ killing going on right now on social media. Just relax, take a chill pill, have a deep breath. We're going to be okay. Like, the Syracuse defensive tackle was not worth $1 million. You can't freak out because we didn't get him. Ohio State just did a little deep dive on the kid, looked at what he brings, decided, hey, $1 million, he's going to be the highest paid defensive lineman on the team. Is he the best defensive lineman on the team if he comes? No. So we're not going to pay him because it's going to mess up the culture that we already have established here. And he's not better than K-Mac or Edric Houston. So, I mean, you want $1 million, go ahead, go to Texas.
Dude, Michael, this is not a Notre Dame show, dude. My God, he is trying as hard as he can.
That's what he
give
does.
Us all the Notre Dame information, dude. We don't care, bro.
That's what he does.
Congratulations, dude.
Nah, he's going to do that. And he's
love
not
your
gonna
passion,
stop.
bro. Keep it up, dude. I love it, man. At least he's not calling anybody stupid or freaking being like a huge troll.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this defensive tackles we're in on. Jameer Perez, the one out of Cleveland, just got Alabama, Georgia offers, the whole 9 yards. So fast riser here at Glenville. So, I mean, we know our rate there. PJ Dean, I mean, you know, he's a number 1 or number 2 interior offensive lineman. I'm going to convert that over to 1 or 2 defensive end/tackle in the nation as well. That's going to make me feel better. Luke Waffle, Pennsylvania, defensive end. Brother goes to Clemson or something like that. We're in on him. He's taking an official visit. Jake Krull, I believe defensive end out of Florida, official visit. Preston Carey, I believe IMG Academy D tackle, official visit. Derek Coleman Brusa, DN D tackle, not really sure, official visit. Kayshawn Elizer, official visit. Like, there are some official visits scheduled here. Like, so it is it's happening. So we'll just have to wait and see. I got a question, Mello, for you and for the chat. So chat, if Larry Johnson was to sign a similar defensive line class that he did last year, rankings, numbers, similar, would you be happy? Yes or no? Mello, would you be happy? Yes or no?
I'll say I would.
In 10, hold on, rate it. 10 being perfect class, not get any better in my eyes, and 1 being get him out of here fast. Where are you rating it? Last
7.
year's class.
I'd say it's 7, maybe at 8, because for it to match, you need Deuce Gerald's. I'd say you get Waffle and PJ Dean.
I guess Derek Busa committed to Washington or whatever. I didn't know
that's
that,
cool.
We're going to be doing a deep dive on defensive line recruiting either this week or next week. I got a lot of research.
Yeah.
I've been diving into. I'm not going to share that research with anybody, or they'll shoot a YouTube show on it and get a bunch of popularity.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Mello.
It wouldn't be the first time they stole our ideas. It wouldn't be the fourth time either. They've stealing our ideas forever. Thank God we smartened up. But yeah, shout out to Coach Stud over at IMG. Because I mean, I think having Coach Stud go there, we might end up having that same SFE type of connection, but with IMG. And if that happens, God bless. It's lights out for everybody else. But hopefully we get a 10 out of 10 and we get Deuce Geralds, we get PJ Dean, we get Waffle, and we get Cruel now that Stud is there. And I'll be
all right, we need more people to participate in the chat. Meadows gave it a 6. Lunatic gave it a 7. Mika gave it a 6. Nobody else participated. I'm honestly upset with the BBZ Mafia. What's our chat name? Did we come up with that yet?
That's what we've been rocking with.
The BBZ Mafia. Okay, cool. I am gonna have a little sunshine in my day, man. I'm giving it an 8. And you know, we just need to check mark this video, and 3 years from now we will see who's right. Cleveland Mike gave it a 5. I'm going with an 8. I think Jarquez Carter and one of the other defensive tackles that we've signed are going to make great starting defensive tackles one day. And I think we hit on Epi and Zion Grady. I think both will play.
Yep.
Will start or be too deep, because that's the goal with recruiting, right? I mean, you can't really say, hey, these guys won't contribute next year, I don't like them, because that's not why players – that's not like the overall structure for recruiting. You recruit to develop and get them on the field. But because Larry has missed on some defensive tackles and whatnot, and whatever other reasons you come up with, we need them to. That's not their fault. You know, so I'm not going to judge them because they're not ready to play next year. I'm just not going to. In my mind, defensive linemen and tackles or stuff, it's 3 years. When you're in the program for the 3rd year, if you're not contributing, I think, I'm going to be honest, I just think, hey, maybe this place ain't for you. You know what I mean? That's my decision. So I think Jarquez Carter 100% will be. I think Zion Grady and Epi 100% both will be. It's Trajan Odom. And who's the other one? Odom. No, I just said that. Trajan Odom and the Pennsylvania wrestler.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Is he even here yet? I don't think he's here yet.
Maxwell Roy.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, dude, we'll get off here. Go look at pictures of Maxwell Roy. You talk about somebody you want to be first off the bus. He might take that place because he's absolutely ridiculous. But listen, I get it. I get I get that we're in this spot. Here's the truth, right? And there's no changing the truth. We are in this defensive line spot because Larry Johnson, for whatever reason, his fault, not his fault, it doesn't matter, has missed. Either missed with recruits or transfer portal targets that he has got in, or did not bring in the numbers that he needed to on the recruiting trail. I didn't say anything negative or positive about Larry Johnson. I just said the truth. Do you agree with that, Mello? Is that why we are in this position?
I don't think he missed. I think it's going to show this season. See, so I have a whole different perception. I've watched, and this is no BS, I watched the spring game 15 times. If you look at it, the D-line didn't perform that bad. And I'm like, oh, even this backups, they didn't perform that bad.
Against the best offensive line.
Tywan Malone performed pretty well. So did Jason Moore. I think how we feel about defensive tackle, because we've been fed this by the media for the most part. They keep asking Coach Day. Of course, the coach is going to say, yeah, I want to get better guys on defensive at the defensive tackle, or maybe they were losing a little bit during the season, right? But they're also going against the best O-line in the country. That's number one. Number two, if you watch the game, the spring game, they ran 2 different defenses, a cover 3 and like man-to-man. They were getting double teamed every single snap except for one. They ran one stunt the entire spring game, and they got a sack. They were generating pressure on the quarterback. If you go back and watch, our D-line is going to be fine. I promise you. So I'm at a perspective where I don't feel like we have an issue at D-line, and I feel like you're going to see the guys hit this season. So my perspective is a lot different than most of you guys' perspective. And we'll see. I always thought that it was a DM problem in terms of depth that we didn't have. And we went out and got Bo Atkinson. So now I feel great about that. I feel great about what's behind them in terms of linebackers. I feel by the end of the season we'll be considered the best linebacker room in the country. I can't say that right now because they haven't proven it yet, and I'm going to give that slight nod to UGA. I think we have the best secondary room, period, in the country right now today. And then we have, in my opinion, he's going to prove it, is Matt Patricia will be considered the best defensive coordinator this year, and he's going to scheme it up. So I actually think we're perfectly fine, and we're going to have the number one defense again 2 years back to back.
Well, I've explained my perspective probably like 3 or 4 times on this show. I'm very passionate about it. I share the same sentiment that you do, Mello. It's this point where Larry Johnson has missed. This point right here. I just feel all the coaches are at a 10. That's what I mean by that. You look at all the other position groups and the way that they are recruiting, they're getting their number 1, number 2, number 3 prospects on the board. Larry Johnson is not doing that. These are Ohio State issues. I feel your sentiment that I'm not, we got to wait and see. Got to give Tywone Below, Will Smith, Jason Moore that opportunity to come in there. I do not think we're as bad depth-wise as what people and the media and other people are making it out to be. I agree with you there. It's this that makes – this is a huge part. I didn't even think about Cleveland, Mike, when I went on my rant. I think D-line recruiting is leaving more to desire there. I probably said that wrong, but whatever.
No, that's fine. You said it right. I know what you're saying.
Because you look around at all the other position groups. I mean, James Laurinaitis, look at his class last year. Offensive line this year, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, tight end. And then you get to the, defensive ends, and we've seen class after class of in the last minute, kids are flipping. I mean, how many flipped this year? 3? Signing day? Or not signing day, but a month before, there was like 3 or 4 flips out of the class this year. I mean, some of them were to Colorado.
Is that an LJ problem, or is that we're not going to overpay for you problem?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's an LJ problem. I think the latter is true, but that still doesn't change that being a problem. That means there needs to be a solution to it. But again, be careful, because I share your perspective of like where we're at on the season. I mean, we brought that up together like the last show. I'm the one that brought up, hey, I think people are exaggerating about this defensive line depth. Where you get into this conversation that we're having right now with the misses is when you compare the defensive line recruiting to the other positions on the team, if that makes sense. But again,
yeah, I get that. If you're going to take that perspective, then I could see it. But the perspective I'm taking is the defensive tackles that we're bringing in, right, compared to the defensive tackles that other schools are bringing in. To me, Jarquez Carter is a top 3 defensive tackle in his class. To me, Deuce Gerald's is the number 1 defensive tackle in the country in his class. I think we already got Jarquez. I think we're going to get Deuce Gerald's. I'm significantly highly on that, my stance on that. So when I'm looking at it, I don't compare him to the other position group coaches. I'm comparing him to the other colleges that are going after defensive tackle and who's getting the best and who fits the system the best. And I feel like LJ is killing it. I think we want Dylan Stewart, of course, but I mean, if they're going to pay a certain amount of money for Dylan Stewart and we're like not completely sold that he's going to have that same impact, like for instance, do you think Dylan Stewart comes in as a freshman and he's taking the starting job away from Jack Sawyer or JT?
No.
Okay, so you're not going to pay him what South Carolina's paying him to go there. That's why we lost him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it. Like in terms of what we're getting and what we're gonna see in the product on the line. I mean, guys, he just sent the entire starting line within the first 5 draft rounds of the NFL draft. Like all 4 of them gone. That started. Who else has done that? Maybe UGA back in 21 or 22. Nobody else has done that. So yes, I think LJ is doing fine. I would like him to let the young guys go out on the road and help them with the recruiting. But in terms of what we're doing, in terms of bringing in and the development, he's not second to none. He's the GOAT.
So to play devil's advocate here, like I've stated before, I'm not that worried about this year's defensive line. Just put 4 in the league. Absolute GOAT at development. Very good recruiter. Last year's class, I wouldn't change it. I love it. I'm glad the kids decommitted that did and the kids committed that did. I love the class we have. 2023 football commits. We got Jason Moore, Caden McDonald, Joshua Mickens, Will Smith Jr. So there's 4 D linemen, 2 tackles, 2 ends. Love it, right? Then let's go to 2024. Edric Houston, Dominic Kirks.
Yes, that was a miss in terms of numbers. Absolutely.
And Eric Mensa. Yeah, so I guess, Mello, when you look at it, it's really the 2023 and 2024 class that really kind of jack things up. I mean, you would think that you would want more numbers in there because, and the thing is, Ohio State sees this too. They know this, right? Number one, how many kids they tried to bring in last year. So they know they're low on their numbers. And then number 2, look what they're doing in the transfer portal. So Ohio State is well aware that for whatever reason, the recruiting at D-line has not produced what it needs to produce for Ohio State. For whatever reason that is. Larry Johnson's the GOAT. And I think what people do is they take that specifically, other people that write articles on it all the time and other shows, they take that and they make it to be a way bigger deal than what it's made out to be, And then, like you just said, the snap count doesn't help. We don't get to see a lot of, Tywon Malone's and Jason Moore's and Will Smith Jr. and Josh Mickens. It was why? Because we just had 4 NFL linemen. So they wanted to keep them on the field. I don't necessarily agree with it, but
and not just that, you got to think, who was the 2 deep? KJ, Caden Curry, K-Mac, and Edric Houston.
I know.
All 4 of those guys are getting drafted. And Bo Atkinson. All 5 of them are going to get drafted. So, I mean.
Yeah. Lucia, thank you so much for the $5. Last year it was Howard can't throw the deep ball. Now this year it's we need D linemen. Just relax and let Day do his job. And I think she said it the best, man. I think we're going to be just fine. I really, really do. And, I'm going to have faith that in the end here, Ryan Day, I'm going to call Ryan Day elite at addressing issues. He proved that this year. And if Ohio State, I'll just use ifs for now. If Ohio State thinks that they're lacking in the defensive line recruiting department, then I believe that issue, Ryan Day is throwing resources and time into that this year, and it will be addressed just like the offensive line one has been, addressed. All righty. I think that's all I got, Mello. Is there anything else that we want to
I think that's pretty much it, brother.
I could keep going for a long time, just so you know, but it's already been an hour and 8 minutes. So tomorrow, like I said, we'll be over on the Scoop channel. Kirk and Nevada have given us the opportunity to help grow Buckeye Boys, right? Like you talked to him. I talked to Kirk. He's like, hey, make sure they know to go follow your Buckeye Boys channel and shout out and all that stuff. So again, just a selfless move by them over there to help us out. So we'll still be streaming our Sunday, Tuesday and Wednesday shows on here. But we'll be over there on Scoop, hopefully getting some more eyes on us and whatnot, so we could use your guys' help. Chat, give us some ideas and some things, some shows you guys might want to see, some suggestions for the show. Shoot us an email. Let us know, what do you guys want to see more of, right? Not many people watch our recruiting interviews. That is irrelevant to me. I do not care. It's our number one passion, why we do this. So that will forever be the basis of the Buckeye Boys. I've explained it 100 times why we are passionate about it. But So yeah, you guys got any show ideas or anything like that? Let us know. Mello, any closing thoughts?
They were asking about trivia.
Oh shoot!
If we do it, let's just do one question tonight.
Okay. All right, here we go. I don't think anybody's going to get this one. KJ Hill and Gary Williams are tied in the Buckeyes record book for catching a pass in how many consecutive games? I guessed that one right.
Robert, they still come on Fridays, brother. They had a banger last Friday.
So it's more than 35 games, chat. Oh, Meadows was close. There's Uncle Bubba showing up. Miss what he did last. Every time he gets answers right, he's not in the chat. He shows up to answer, though, by God. Russ got it. Was that Russ's first? No, it wasn't. Come on, Russ.
Oh, well, we got to do a different question now.
That's done. All right. Okay.
Hey, Robert, are you do you sub to the Buckeye Boys channel on YouTube or X and hit the notification bell? Because if you do, it's literally on our channel. So if you get a notification for this one, you should get one for theirs as well.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Who holds the highest age career passing yards record? Come on. Come on. I got faith in the Ohio State fan base. Somebody's getting this one.
Single season, Will Star.
Look at Michael. There you go, Shane. I'll give you that one. Spelled it wrong, but
JT. Michael, you're hilarious.
It's not JT Barte. It's JT Barrett, Shane, just so you know. No, that's first. That's Shane's first one. He's on the board.
Congrats, Shane. You got a point today, my brother.
Yeah. Let's see who else got that one right. I think Robert got it. A lot of people got that one right. Meadows got it. Yeah, a lot of people did.
We know Michael got it wrong.
Yeah, I know he did. Freaking Chris Carter, man. What you doing, bro? You got something to go do, Michael?
Michael was a funny dude, man.
Michael, you want to come on our show, dude? We'll come on here and tell us about Notre Dame. We really want to find out about it, man. We'll have a debate.
I mean, I like our chances on winning that one.
I really want to know where you guys are at with your recruiting class and stuff. So I'd love to have you on to hear about it. No, but for real, I'd love to have you on. I think we're going to have a couple. We're having Buckeye backers on with us this week, Mello. Got to get that scheduled.
That'd be fire. We got to get back to dropping the StreamYard link on the Sunday shows again.
Yeah, I know. We do.
Because there's just been so much going on. Like, we had the Kaden Dixon Wyatt commitment. So, I mean, it's been a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, I know. Hey, dude, it's great to be a Buckeye fan, man. It seriously is. It's awesome to be a part of a team that not only wins on the football field, but, you know, has their heart in the right place, morals in the right place. It's been a very big eye-opening experience getting connected with the players on the team and the families on the team, man. It really, really has. I'm pretty sure Mello would say the same thing. It's changed our perspective of the game. So, and I'm excited. We're about to learn a lot more on Thursday, man, 6:00 on Buckeye Scoop.
Don't miss it. I'm telling you right now, and this might be the biggest guest we've had on to date.
Yeah. So I think I just said it. Mello probably didn't want me to, but I did.
Did you?
I'll be
What did you say? You could say it. Nobody's
Monica
gonna be able to
Daniels.
steal that.
Yeah.
Monica Daniels is coming on Thursday with us, so I would show up. I mean, she's a major reason that our recruiting classes are doing so well as they are, and we'll get to asking her how she got involved in that and how she's so close with all the family. So you're not going to want to miss that one.
Yeah, I believe it was her and CJ's mom.
Yep.
Right. They started something. So way back then, we tried to get them both on a while ago, but it didn't work up with their schedules and stuff. So it did now. I just talked to her on the phone today for a good little bit. Absolutely. I mean, wait till you hear. And no wonder she gets talked about the way she does. No wonder Ohio State hired her to help her with recruiting. Did you know that, Mel? Did you know that she works for Ohio State?
She's literally the Oprah of mom recruits. She's Oprah. That's the level that she's at. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm stoked about that. We were talking about Jesus and all that, man. So it's going to be an exciting show, but, well, man, that'll do it. So on that note, we appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for everybody that supports our channel. Thank you to those that are members, man. We'll get this stuff figured out one day and give you something special for being a member. But for now, you're just supporting the show. We appreciate that. On that note, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
IO.